Hello everyone and welcome back to the third video of this small playlist that I'm creating. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you the more advanced installation of the Ubuntu Desktop Kali Linux, or not Kali Linux machine, sorry, the Ubuntu Linux machine that we're going to create in Virtualbox. So similar to last time, we're going to click create new, and let me just preface this with, if you haven't seen video 1 and 2, or at least video 1, and don't know how to get VirtualBox Manager installed on your computer, I highly suggest you go back to the first video and then continue with this one afterwards. So I'm going to be going a little bit faster today just because I don't want to drag this video out too long. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So I'm going to be clicking new right here at the top, and then I'm going to be selecting a name, Ubuntu Advanced Install. And then I'm not going to be selecting an ISO or disk image file right away. I'm going to be selecting Linux, Linux Ubuntu, and that's perfectly fine. Everything is set as it should be. Then I'm going to be skipping over the drop-down menu saying unattended install and go straight to the hardware one. I'm going to give it 4 gigs of memory and 4 cores because I have 32 available. If your system is not as beefy as mine, you can go with 2 and 4 gigs of memory. I think those are kind of like the limitation, or at least the recommended like amount to have for Ubuntu Desktop. But otherwise, you can look that up on their website. And then go to hard disk, and I'm just gonna give it 40 gigs of space. Then I'm gonna be clicking finish. And if you watched the second video about the simple installation, you'd notice that this machine doesn't start automatically, and that's because we didn't select a disk image file. So what I'm gonna do now is just gonna go and set a couple of settings. I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna select my machine right here, then go to settings. Then I'm gonna be going to system. I'm gonna remove the floppy disk boot order because it's unnecessary, and sometimes the floppy disk can cause a little bit of trouble with virtual machines. Then I'm gonna be selecting Hyper-V and enable nested paging because it doesn't work with the processor that I have. It might work with yours, I don't know, but you need to look that up somehow if you have the option to use that function. Then under display, I'm gonna be adding a bit more video memory. It just makes so this screen doesn't feels laggy or stuttering in the virtual machine, so it just looks a bit nicer. You could go with 64 megabytes or 128, depends on your graphics card. Under storage, I think we will, let's just check. Yeah, storage is the last thing that we need to do something with, and we're gonna select the disk image file that we need for this machine to boot or get the installation going. So I'm going to be hitting choose a disk file. And as you can see, my file or my path is already set. If you just downloaded Ubuntu as I showed you in the second video, it should be located in your downloads folder right here, or you can move it wherever you want. You just need to know the actual path for it. I'm going to be selecting the Ubuntu 2404 desktop and click open. Then I'm going to be check marking live CD DVD. And that's basically it. Now we can go ahead and start the machine. And it should boot fairly quickly. Let's just see what's going to happen. Just give it a second right here. Okay, so we're going to try or install Ubuntu, just like we did in second video. And then we wait. So the installation should get going in just a second. It might take a little less time or a little bit more time depending on how you configured your machine. But as you can see, I give it 4 cores. Sometimes, or I guess most people would give it 2 cores, but you can always change this afterwards. So sometimes it could be favorable to just give it a lot of cores and a lot of memory in the actual installation process and then scale it down afterwards. That's the very nice part about virtual machines. Like, you have a bit more flexibility than you have compared to a normal rig or a laptop. So while this is just getting started, I'm just gonna mute the sound because you just heard it right there. It's gonna play the welcome to Ubuntu jingle, and it sometimes is horribly out of sync with the volume of my OBS editor. So sometimes it plays really loud, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. So choose your language. I'm gonna select English, and then I'm gonna be skip accessibility in Ubuntu. Then I'm gonna be selecting a keyboard. Mine is Danish. I need the Danish keyboard, otherwise I don't know how to write the special characters, but select the one you want to have. Then I'm gonna be selecting do not connect to the internet. And this can be because in case you configured your, for instance, your network settings for the virtual machines, I didn't do it right here, but if you set it to, for instance, bridge mode and have your Wi-Fi or like internet at your home set to private, it could be discoverable if if it's connected to the internet and there's no firewall or something like that not connected. So personally, I tend to do not connect to the internet all the way until the machine is actually set up, configured correctly, and then has hosted and then booted into Ubuntu, and then I can start connecting it to the internet and start updating it and stuff like that. So do not connect to the internet next, then skip the update for now. I just want the installation to go through as quick as possible. Then install Ubuntu, and now you have an option, or now, sorry, not an option, it's the next step, but you're going to select interactive mode. This is a bit more advanced if you have an auto install.yaml file. I don't have that personally. I'm just going to be showing you this. So select interactive mode and go next. And then I'm going to go with the default selection. You can go with the extended selection if you have something you want to install. I'm going to go with the default, and then I'm going to be skipping this right here. Then you have two options. You can say erase the disk and install Ubuntu, or you can select manual install. Just for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to be selecting manual installation. And now we have to select where we want to install Ubuntu. So now what you're looking at is the hard drive or the partition that I created beforehand. So if you remember right here in like in the settings in Virtualbox, I went to, let's see, where is it? Storage. And right here, I created a hard drive of 40 gigabytes. And this is the one we're seeing right here, even though it's a little larger. So I'm going to be clicking select free space. And then at the left side here, you have this plus icon. I'm going to be clicking that. Then you can choose what type of file system type you want to use. ext4 is, I'd say, by far the most standard one to use with Linux, but you can obviously change it if you want to. And all of the different types of file type system have different variations and pros and cons to them, but I'm just going to go with ext4, which is the most common one. Then we're going to select a mounting point, and like the forward slash is always at the root, and this is where you want to install your operating system. So this is how we do it. So select ext4 and then the mounting point at the root, and then select OK. Then we can click next. Let me just quickly check. Yeah. Then we can select next, and now we have to create our account. I'm going to be going with John Doe. You can select your personal name, or you can select an alias depending on what you want. I'm going to go with advanced install, in advanced Ubuntu. And then I'm going to be selecting a username of DBB and then a perfectly safe password. Do not copy this. Even Ubuntu tells me that this is not a good password to use, and you want to use strong passwords, especially if you want to have this machine access the internet or something like that. So next, the reason why I can get away with this is because I'm going to delete the machine afterwards before this video releases onto YouTube. So for me, it's perfectly fine, but for you, it might be a different case. Then hit next, select your time zone, and now we're ready to install. The installation is going to look similar to the one we saw in the second video, so I'm most likely going to be pausing and restarting the recording when the installation is done, because otherwise you're just going to watch the same thing as you did beforehand. But Let me just really quick click install, and then you can click the small like terminal icon right here, and you can see and follow along about what's going on. But this is going to take maybe 5 to 10 minutes depending on your system, and I don't want to waste your time showing you this, so I'm just going to be pausing the installation and returning once it's done. So hang in there, I'll be back very soon. All right, so as you can see, now the installation is finished, and we should hit restart now. Then the machine should post again, and we should be asked to remove the installation media. It should be showed here on the boot menu. Exactly, there it is. It says right there in the middle, please remove the installation medium, then press enter. And since there's no physical medium, so we didn't actually put in a physical CD, we just tricked the computer into believing that we were. Now it should be okay to just press enter and the machine should be ready to go. So let's see if it posts, and then congratulations, you've just finished setting up the Ubuntu desktop in a more advanced way where you have a bit more flexibility about the options you select. And other than that, it's basically the same thing for all the other operating systems that you might want to try out. If you want to try out Unix or Unix or Windows, depending on what operating system you're currently running. So now here I have my user, John Doe, that I created in the beginning. And now I'm going to be signing in to this user. So I'm going to be punching in my password. And once again, I can't really underline this enough. You need to make sure to use secure passwords. Don't copy what you see in this video. The reason why I can do it is because I'm going to be deleting this machine right after this video is actually done. So it will never be used before the actual video comes out on YouTube. All right, I'm going to just say next. I'm going to skip Ubuntu Pro. And then I don't want to share my system data. And let's go next. I'm going to skip the App Center, and there it is. Now we should be logged into our virtual machine. I'm going to open the terminal by clicking Control Alt C on my, not C, sorry, Control Alt T on my keyboard. That's the default shortcut, at least. And then we can go, who am I? And I should be my user that I created. Note that the user I logged in with was John Doe, but my actual username on the system is DBB, which was the one we created earlier as well when asked for it. And then we can go host name and see that we're on the advanced installation. So you can see it shows right here as well after the and or like the @ sign right here in the name. But just to make sure that the actual host we're on, host in quotation marks, because the actual host we're on is the physical computer you're doing this on. But inside the virtual machine, this is a system that we're currently working with. And that's basically it, guys. If you made it this far, you just congratulations. First of all, you just managed to set up your own virtual machine inside VirtualBox in the more advanced way. And if you made it this far and feel like you got some sort of value from this video, it would mean the world to me if you would like and subscribe to my channel. And without anything else to say, there's not really much to it. Now it's just time for you to try out what Ubuntu is like. You can always try out more systems if you want. That's the beauty of virtual machines. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and have fun.